On tonight's show, the Western Cape Sports School launches its golf day. We introduce a brand new feature and some spectacular catches in our match of the week. All this and more on From the Clubhouse.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of From the Clubhouse. This week we've got some great features that we'll be introducing, and also we've got something that we'd like to also say thanks for and announce. And on that note, gentlemen, beautiful orange shirts tonight.
Now I'm loving it, and yeah, thanks to our brand winner. We've waited for it and we've received them now, and looking forward to some more colors.
Yeah, it's not about just the nice and new shirts. Let it never be said that we don't look bright on TV.
Yes, indeed. And on that note, talking about being bright and certainly making an impact, let's talk cricket. Now, there's been lots happening in the cricketing world at different levels, and here to unpack that is obviously the panel, Gavin and Clinton. Gavin, I want to start with you first of all, because you're always raving about it. The Proteas started the series very well, or the tour very well. T20 win convincingly, a one-day series win convincingly, and then a very unconvincing or convincing loss on the Indians' part on a bit of a sandy pitch.
Well, as you quite rightly say, I'm always coming up for the Proteas. Let me start by saying we lost the toss. Okay, and I think it just went south from there. Batting last on that wicket, whether it was on the third or the fifth day, batting last was always going to be a problem for the Proteas, or whoever batted last. One of the commentators actually remarked on the show, though, about India and preparing spinners pitches, which they haven't done in a while, that it could have gone the other way. They could have run into problems themselves because they just maybe didn't have enough runs on the board. I think that's something that they alluded to. So if you're going to prepare spinners pitches like that, you better make sure that you get enough runs. So it could have gone either way. The Proteas, however, having said that, didn't do well. They didn't exploit those conditions as well, maybe as they should have. Pity JP wasn't there, because we could have done with that extra spinner and a batting option coming in the middle order.
I'd just like to just clarify something. Day 2 looked like a day 5 pitch. I didn't even, never mind day 3 and day 5, day 2, it was already a day 5 pitch. Certainly, the ICC should be looking at that. I mean, they don't encourage things like that. I know at Newlands before, PPC Newlands, there's been issues where a test match didn't run the full 5 days, and you pick up fines for that because, first of all, you're selling tickets. You're losing out on that revenue because you have to refund people, but also there's broadcast rights that get sold. So it doesn't make sense for them to prepare wickets like that. It
doesn't make sense to have, as you say, a third day look like a fifth day wicket, but I think you should judge the series in its entirety after the fourth test. It might be that it was just a once-off. We don't know. Let's see what happens in the remaining 3 test matches.
And on the Cobras side, it's sort of a 50-50. You win some, you lose some.
You win some, you lose some. Let's first go back to the Friday night's game at Paarl. What a comeback. What a last over. Wayne Parnell doing it again. I mean, this boy is turning out to be quite a good acquisition for the Cape Cobras. Unfortunately, though, on Sunday, couldn't come up trumps against the Titans, a match that I would have thought the Cobras would do well to win. But you know what? At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's who makes the semi-finals. Mm-hmm.
Because in a knockout game, it's anyone's game. There's also been lots of action in terms of first class. There's been action in terms of women's cricket as well, Clinton, and that's where I want to bring you in. What shall we start with, women's or first class cricket? Ladies first.
Let's give it to the women this time around. And yeah, and that's also the sad note that we speak about, is they lost both the games this weekend. I think it's the first time they've lost a doubleheader, and especially to Northerns. Something they're probably earmarked to have taken them on, but unfortunately, availability of players, 1 or 2 players couldn't attend the games, but give the credit to Northerns. I think they've got a much more balanced side at the moment. Some international players were available to represent. And I think that's it's a learning curve for Cobras and the girls. And I think now they've got to go back and really prepare well when they take on Northwest very soon.
And your first class team, how have they been faring?
No, well, they are on a roll. Unfortunately, they couldn't pick up the win on Saturday to make it 3 out of 3.
Lazard, yes.
Yes, no, Lazard was something different on the weekend. He bowled very well. And I think he had to take a lot of a lot of the pressures of the bowling attack, because our strike bowler in the first innings, Mpilo Njoloza, got injured. Shaheen Khan also got injured with the lower back, and we ended up playing with 9 players on the Saturday, legitimate players. And in the
Are you sure that wasn't a third division club game?
No,
Normally there you have like players short and you try to make up.
Sitting on the side and watching it, definitely not a third division side. It was a good effort by the boys, 9 players in the field, and I think we needed 1 more wicket, but we had a few chances which slipped at the end of the day's play. Jason Smith outstanding, the way he batted, and Jaloza bowled very well. And all the contributions, Lazard, as you mentioned, done very well. So yes, they've missed out they drew that game. We still top the log at the moment, so we're very proud at the moment, and hopefully we play Gauteng in 2 weeks' time, and we can pull one back there. And the T20 on Sunday morning, I think all the frustrations of Saturday, they took out on Boland in the morning and bowled him out to 72, which Jason Smith took 4 for 4 in his 4 overs, and we clinched the game with 8 wickets left.
And Lazard took 11 in that match.
Yeah. Bowled very well.
Geez, that is, he's certainly obviously knocking on the door and saying, if you're not going to perform at the top, then I'm willing to take your place.
No, I'm sure he's knocking there. He was there. I think they opted for the likes of Farisco Adams. Unfortunately, we had a good game with the Cobras in Paarl on Friday night. He went for 20 in the 1 over. Wasn't left behind, and Roddy Clanfeld took his place up to Titans. But I'm pretty sure it won't be long, and Lazard will be in there. Might even have Njoloza in there if he passes his fitness.
Before I move on to Gav for his very special trivia that we look forward to every week, because there's something in it for all of us, just those couple of names that you mentioned there now, the cupboard is certainly not bare when it comes to Western Province and bowlers, it seems. There's a pipeline that is overflowing.
I think there was a stage when we thought that our cupboard was bare, but we never really looked as to what we really have in our system. Jaloza played last year, the last game in the Sunfield series for the Cobras, and he took a hat-trick in that game. And he was knocking on the door. He's come from border, he's bowled very well, he's studying at UWC, and he's really put in a lot of effort this weekend. He's even chipped in with 2 30s at the back end of the innings against Border, chipped in with another 30 against Boland, and he's hitting the ball a long way. You never know, he might just get a call up as an all-rounder position within the Cobras. But be that as it may, I think there's quite a few players that's really putting up their hand and taking the opportunities. Tariq Chikte did well in the last game. So with all those type of players, we really look at, we shorted keepers. There are many. There are enough players. I think it's all about the opportunity, and when it comes, taking the chance.
We're certainly looking forward to that, because like I said, that cupboard is certainly not bare. Like you said, we were worried at one stage in terms of Western Province and Cape Cobras fans that there might be a shortage, but it's certainly not the case. But now we get to the part where I'm sure you've been waiting for every week, where you can win yourself some nice things, and i.e. tickets to come watch those Cobras and those stars of the future play here at PPC Newlands. Gavin, what do you have for us in your trivia?
Thank you very much, Brandon. The trivia question for this week, before we get to the trivia question for this week, let's do a recap on what happened last week. The question for last week was, who is the West Indian star that's currently playing for the Cape Cobras in the Ram Slam T20 competition? The answer there was Kieran Pollard. Well done to Leo Rocky, as well as to Nazri Alexander, our 2 winners for this evening. You'll be joining us on the 20th of November for the Ram Slam T20 game versus the Titans here at PPC Newlands. If you've missed out this evening, well, here's your chance again to win the same tickets. And remember, it's one of 2 sets of 5 tickets to come and see that game at PPC Newlands. Tonight's question is a very simple and basic cricketing question. How long is a cricket pitch? You can either give it in yards or you can give it in meters. Your answers, please, to us on Twitter. That's at Clubhouse_TV. Equally, just drop it on Facebook /from the Clubhouse, or just email it through to us, info@fromtheclubhouse.co.za.
Thanks, Gavin. When we come back after the break, it's our game of the week, and it's Greenpoint Cricket Club up against Fortinet Pinelands.
Hi, I'm Donovan Henry from Greenpoint Cricket Club, and you're watching From the Clubhouse.